Okay, everybody, welcome back. We're going to be talking now with Grant. He's going to go over some threshing and separation.
Correct.
Again, just a reminder, aos@rockymtn.com. Send us those questions. The more we get, the more we can talk about some of the problems and pain points that you guys are having. So take it away, Grant.
Thank you. Thank you, Chad. So quickly, we're going to go over threshing and separating. Of course, this is the most important part of the combine, right? That's the whole job of a combine, thrashing, separating. Simple CR thrashing system. As you can see, for the knowledgeable folks out there, this is a S-cube rotor. Not to mention that most of our combines now are using twin pitch rotors, which instead of these longer rub bars here, we use shorter rub bars, which are about half the size of these ones. And on the twin pitch rotor, the rub bar runs all the way the full length of the rotor instead of using rub bars and separators. So in-feed system, pretty simple. Crop comes in the front, it's thrashed, it comes in through the front of the rotors, and then thrashed at the beginning of the rotors. This is the key to all twin rotor combines, is that the product comes in a mat, and all the thrashing is done right in this location here. So from there on in, it's just a matter of separation and discharge at that point. That's what makes the twin rotor work better over most other combines, is our thrashing is done basically at contact point to the rotors. Quick and simple and less crackage, less powder, less seed issues. Threshing, separating, again, these are the S-cube rotors. As I mentioned earlier, you can see the longer rub bars with separation bars at the back. Here's the twin pitch rotors that I talked about earlier. This is probably 95% of our combines are now being sold with twin pitch rotors in Western Canada. So you can see the smaller rub bars, more of them as they go back through the combine, and they're all the way the whole length of the rotor. Concave features, easily removed one piece per rotor, okay? So our whole concave comes out as one piece. And then in behind here would be the separator grates. In-cab concave clearance control. So again, even if you're using a manual concave, not using IntelliSense, there's just a toggle switch off the right-hand side to change your height of your concave. And minimal tools required to remove it. No wrenches, just pull down the tabs, out comes the concave. Here's a concave that a lot of people are using in Western Canada. I don't know is there anybody here using that concave in particular? It's our Field P concave. So it is a bar and a wire concave. So it's got the big bars, plus it's got wires in it as well. Designed for peas and cereal grains. We have a lot of people leave these concaves in for all their crops. Peas, cereals, canola. Seems to be working in all those conditions. It consists of 17, because most of our combines are 22-inch rotors, not 17-inch. 17 bars that are 9/64th diameter wires with 14 millimeter wire spacing. So bars, 9/64th wires, and 14 millimeter wire spacing. Helps, again, all of our product fall down onto the sieves. Awning plates. So we'll put these in, that's a blank out plate, as many people will call it quickly, to help thrash out harder thrashing conditions of wheat or cereals or whatever. Maybe even for that matter in canola. If you've sprayed your canola to straight cut it and found out it wasn't drying down fast enough, so you had to swath it anyway. A lot of times those pods are harder to thrash out, so you might want to put some awning plates in there, hold the product in there longer to thrash it out. So I guess that's the end of the slide portion, but I can talk a little bit further about thrashing and separating. Basically, the product, as you guys all know, John talked about it earlier with the feeder house being a 50-inch wide feeder house. So it's the same, it's a matching width to two 22-inch rotors. The key to that, though, is as the product flows into the bottom of the rotors, and I'll just go back to the picture of the two rotors. We'll use that one. So as the product flows into here, right here, we have our rotors separating in opposite directions, right? So then our product then is thrashed out right at the bottom of here. You can see the concave is right here. The key to all that is with most single rotor combines, the product will come in on this side of the combine, pretending that this is just one rotor, okay? The product will come in on this side of the rotor and not be completely thrashed out, maybe about 70%, 65% thrashed. So then it's got to wrap around to the right-hand side of that same rotor and use what they call their second concave or second module to help complete that thrashing process. So what does that do? Generally what happens in that process is that you end up with more returns because you don't get all the heads cleaned out as effectively as you want to get them cleaned out. Increasing returns increases damaged crop, right? Also, when you increase your returns, obviously you're taking and re-thrashing that product again, so you're repeating the process, which uses more power to operate the combine. The other thing that this process helps with, though, is that getting that product through faster obviously increases or decreases the amount of power being used at the time. Now with the IntelliSense combines, what we've got now is movable vanes inside the rotor cages. So another part of the hard thrashing grain is that we can slow down the vanes on the combine, or on the rotor cage, sorry, to help hold the product in there longer, so that we can thrash it out there instead of having to send it back through returns and come out. If the product is thrashing out easily, like say, canola, for instance, it seems to be our easiest thrashing product, we can open up those vanes, lay them down, and have everything pass through faster. So clearly, if we're slowing down the vanes, we're going to use more power to run the combine, right? If we open up the vanes, we're going to use less power to run the combine. The good thing about the IntelliSense there at that point is it's going to go back to the power supply. It's going to most likely speed your combine up when the vanes have opened up. So you're going to be able to thrash that product cleaner, faster, and you're going to be able to do more acres in a day. Clearly, when we come to some harder thrasher stuff, with slowing down the vanes, you're going to use a little bit more power, and it's going to take a little bit longer to thrash it out. But if you're not using a combine with movable vanes, what you end up doing then is putting in more filler plates, stopping, checking. You're more often checking that product or that combine out to make sure that the sample is coming cleaner and the heads are thrashing out faster. So even though the vanes are slowing down and doing that for you, you're still getting a lot more productivity during the day. I guess the other side of that, though, too, is one thing that a lot of people don't anticipate with our rotary combines is straw, okay? People always have that envision of the straw being short and not able to bale, not able to use for bedding for their cattle, for those people that are dropping straw. The other advantage of having all our thrashing done right at the front here is that we are pushing our straw out a lot faster. So we've had numerous, not to take away from our conventional combine, of course, but we've had numerous customers switch from conventional combines over to rotary combines because they are finding they're getting just as good a quality straw with the rotary combine as they are with the conventional combine. Does anybody have any tips, by the way, for thrashing? Anything that you guys do that, little tips? I don't know how else to explain it other than, okay, good enough. I guess at that point in time then, we'll move back to Chad and we'll move on to the next section of our program.
Okay, thanks, Grant.
Oh, sorry, you have a question?
If you order the IntelliSense, put it in afterwards,
On
vanes, will you still have the adjustable vanes automatically?
Yes, so correct me if I'm wrong, John, but model year 21 combines are standard with movable vanes. And what we've done now is we've also changed the clean grain elevator to accommodate the grain cam. So that's one thing that I guess we haven't mentioned yet. We'll get to that later on, but there's a grain cam on there that actually takes pictures of the quality of the grain. And between the air pressure sensors adjusting and telling the IntelliSense to speed up or slow down because there's too much material, the grain cam is actually taking pictures of the grain to find out if there's a more MOG or less MOG. MOG is material other than grain, okay? So we want less of that, obviously, right? But the 21 combines have that new clean grain elevator to mount that camera on, and I believe they come standard with movable vanes now. Is that right? Okay, so if you're, yeah, 20 was the last year where it was an option, so 21 forward it's standard. So yes, the simple answer to your question is you can make a 21 combine that's not IntelliSense an IntelliSense combine and make it a more productive combine. 21 and on, yeah. Perfect, great question. Any other questions, sorry, before we move on?